I was literally the Rachel Berry of the new world. I was like, this is so great. And then I was like thrown into the middle of shit, and I was like, whoa, okay, I can't sing too loud. Yeah, it's honestly all a fluke. I don't know how I've ended up here. I don't know what I'm doing. And I, like, honest to God, like, I wish that was alive, but I genuinely was like, I haven't a clue what's happening or how I've got here. But like, thank God I'm here.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Finnterviews. I'm your host Connor Finn, and this is a show where I get to chat to the most Finteresting people I know. You know the score by now. On the show this week, I had the absolute pleasure of sitting down for a chat with the wonderful Bobbi Arlo. If you don't know who Bobbi is yet, you're going to find out real quick because I'm absolutely obsessed with her. She is a fresh new musician, musical artist, pop artist, springing out of Dublin, and we talked about Bobbi's whole journey from a musical theatre kid who fell into career in pop, the horrors of working at Heuston station, and all the amazing plans that Bobbi has lined up, including the release of her latest hit, Fever Thoughts, that you can stream and download now. This was such a joy to record. Bobbi was just full of giggles and just really good crack, and really up for just chatting about her life that over the last couple of years has just went mental. She is a one to watch if you're anyway included in the music scene, so I'm just so grateful I got to chat to her now before she gets too big. But with all that in mind, please enjoy this latest episode of Finnterviews with the wonderful Bobbi Arlo. Well, welcome back to another episode of Finnterviews. On the show this week, I am delighted. I mean, what a way to start a Friday morning. Even though it's my start, Bobbi started at ages ago. Sorry, what am I talking about? Welcome on to the show, Bobbi Arlo. How's it going?
Hello, how are you?
I really titsed up that introduction. So sorry about that.
It's early. We all have our coffee. It's early. It's fun.
Oh, honestly, like I've been trying to get myself up in the morning. Like I'm not used to it. Honestly, I've been off for the last few while, so I feel like I'm just getting into swing of things. But you look at you, dressed to the nines. I mean, you came here to party. You're like, Connor, we're not fucking around today. All right, get to the fucking point. But I suppose, Bobbi, for anybody, I mean, the rare occasion that somebody is, listed podcast and maybe hasn't heard of you before, have they been living under a rock? Maybe give us a slight introduction, kind of a bit about yourself, your background, like, I suppose what you're known for, because I'm not going to just be like an artist or like musician. I know that, I mean, there's many other junctions. So yeah, maybe just give yourself a wee introduction.
Yeah, of course. So my name is Bobbi Arlo. I'm a 23 singer-songwriter, pop singer from Dublin.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think I'm here because my singles do quite well on the radio sometimes. And that's probably why I'm here.
I mean, okay, don't put it down to that. Just be like, yeah, like sometimes I do pretty well. Like, sorry for. I mean, relatively like new to the scene as well, like last couple of years. You've been fucking killing it. Like, Jesus Christ, even, I suppose, like, even your latest album, that's why, album, single, like, even the latest kind of song, like, coming out there, like, Fever Thoughts. I mean, that's only just released. So, I mean, the fact that I get to sit down with you, I'm being like, Jesus Christ, like, has the last couple of years not just been a bit, like, mental for you? Like,
it's been a bit wild, but, like, I think everyone's life has been a bit mental with COVID and stuff, so I kind of feel like it's counteracted each other, and I really don't know what's going on. I kind of am just doing things, and I'm like, whoa, that's cool. I'm freaking out over that, and then you kind of have to move on quickly because, as you know, the industry moves quite quick. So
oh my God.
you're part in the way, and you come in, you go out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm so glad that you as well kind of described yourself as like a pop artist, because that was literally, I was trying to be like, how would like I describe like your sound, like, sorry, from like literally going back, like the most versatile, I think, from like Berries and like Feel It, like to Feel It, like I was trying to like describe as like, does it like would it be under like synth pop, kind of like it's a bit dark in some areas, kind of feels a bit like R&B, like any kind of pop in areas. I was be like, what would you describe yourself as? Like, I feel like it's because it's rare that you'll get a musician or an artist that is like kind of can just jump in and out of different like genres or sectors so easy. Like,
it's fun. Yeah, I just say I'm a pop singer, because like
keep it chill.
I'm
Yeah.
bubbly voice. Do you know what I mean? So like no matter what I sit on, it will sound somewhat pop,
Yeah.
even if it's like electro pop or like I don't know, any type of like bubblegum pop that I've released or whatever. It's all falls under the same umbrella. It might be influenced by different genres like R&B, or like I've had people review me that say I'm pop rap, even though I've never rapped in my life. I don't know what that means, but okay. So I think it's whatever anyone interprets it as. That was a mouthful. Yeah, so it's I just say pop because it's easier.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, keep it fucking simple. Absolutely. But I
Yeah.
suppose like from the last couple of years, as we were saying there, I mean, it's been a bit of a whirlwind, but I suppose like takes back, like when did you, I suppose, first get into music? Because it seems, as I said, that you just came in here fucking sprinting. Like, was it something that you'd like always kind of gravitated towards, like had a passion for, or like was there, I suppose, potentially like another path in mind, and like maybe you've just had like the luck of falling into be like, hey, it turns out I'm really good at music.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I was in the same vein. I went to college and I studied musical theatre, and I was a musical theatre kid like my whole life. Like I was on stage since I was like 6. And then I went to college, studied it, and I was all set to go to London and do the whole spiel and try for West End and do all that. And I went into a session. I did like backing singing for a few people, backing vocals. And I went into a session with the Tebby Rex boys, and my producer Adam was the guy. And he was just like, who are you? Why have you not released a single? Do you have music? And I was like, well, I write songs on guitar.
I don't know.
Yeah, literally. He's like, send me all the demos. So I sent him my demos. I used to make songs on GarageBand on my phone. So they're riggedy as hell. But a lot of the songs that I made on my phone, we've redone. So like Berry's Signs was made on my phone. It's all these big like tunes that we know now, were all made on my phone on a stupid app. So I sent all them to him, and he was like, yeah, we're working together. So we did Berries in one session. We finished it, and we put it out 2 weeks after. My manager came on board through Adam in that week. So the week before it actually came out into the world, I had just collected this whole team of people that I don't know where they came from or how they were. Like they were just like, yeah, we like your stuff, we're going to support you. It came out, and then the radio took it up, and then I was all of a sudden this new upcoming pop artist. I was like, how did this happen?
You're like, 2 weeks ago I was playing about my phone in GarageBand, like
literally.
Jesus Christ. Sorry, that's like the first time I've heard anybody just be like, yeah, I suppose I could start off in musical theatre, and then next time it was just like a pop artist. Like it's just like I mean, it's spooky.
I'm still trying to figure it out. I don't have a clue what's happening. I'm just kind of going with the motions, like.
Yeah. Yeah, you haven't even got time to sell. You're just be like, yeah, just be dragged around. You're just be like, wow, you're doing so good. You'd be like, am I?
Like you have this show at this date, you have an interview at this date, and I'm like, why?
Me?
Why do they want to interview me?
Exactly. And I suppose like with that as well, like that's I mean, that's a bit of like a turnaround kind of like, I suppose, background from like a lot of the other kind of artists I maybe spoke to, like I mean like other musicians like Leisha and stuff like this, that like, you know, like sometimes you see people that like you can tell like they've went down like a straight like trajectory. They've been like, right, went to like music college, you know, similar to yourself, but they were like, oh no, this is like very much like I want to find my sound, like while I was with around all these creatives. You're in musical theatre. I mean, and I like obviously your songs aren't very much giving you like Broadway, do you know what I mean? Or like what is the inspiration, I suppose, like behind like that kind of like your own music? Like is there anything or anyone that particularly influenced you from coming from a background that's very much like almost take the piss out of when they're singing, like, do you know, that kind of way? Like, you know, I used to do musical theatre as well, so I know essentially whenever somebody goes on and they'll maybe try to sing something but in that kind of musical theatre tone, you go like, oh honey, it's not the song.
Literally, yeah. I don't think, I mean, obviously I listen to a lot of music, and I listen to a lot of like Kate Renata, like Lady Gaga, Charlie XCX. They're people that I look up to and have looked up to, obviously because they're female and they make amazing pop songs. The singer that I love the most is actually Tovlo. I think my songs pop into her lane a bit more, but that's probably because I listen to her literally all the time.
Copyright.
I think the influence that I have really is the fact that like I just make the music that I want to listen to, and I think that's why the songs are all so different to each other. Like I just make the songs at the time that I want to make. I don't really care about what it sits into, or just like, you know, go with the next one, or does it flow, or you know what I mean? So it's just kind of whatever I want to do, which makes it a lot more fun for me. Like if people listen to it and vibe with it, amazing. That's obviously the goal. But like I make them for me, and like I work with two producers, Alex O'Keefe and Adam Shanahan, and they're the backbone behind me. They're like probably, I would arguably say they're the best producers in Ireland at the moment, and I have them on my team. So, and the three of us have very similar taste in music and stuff. So when we go into a session, we catch a vibe, and then that's it, that's the song made. It doesn't really go beyond that. It's not like I want to make a song like this, I want to make a song like this. It's just like we go in, if Alex presses a synth, I go, yeah, I like that, we'll make a whole song around it. Like the last single that just came out yesterday, was it? Yeah, yesterday, Fever Thoughts. Alex, yeah, don't know very much myself, don't question me. Yeah, Alex pressed a key and it made this like wobble bass, like the and he was like, whoa, that's so shit, like we're not using that. And I was like, no, we're using it, and it turned into the whole song. So
Jesus.
Yeah,
like I mean like, so it just kind of comes across obviously organically, but like as you said, like you have like, you're paired up with essentially like the best team that you could ask for, where you guys just come in. That is, I mean, just from trying to understand and like kind of obviously the industry and stuff like this, I don't fucking know. But like trying to understand, like obviously it seems that a lot of people, you know, will go away for a while, or they'll be like, I want to, you know, really go down some certain kind of route. You literally like, it kind of just happens so organically, where you just go into a session and you just be like, yeah, let's fucking go with this, lads. Do you know what I mean? You just go off the spur of the moment, I suppose. Like, Jesus, I mean, fair play.
Yeah, it's honestly all a fluke. I don't know how I've ended up here. I don't know what I'm doing. And I like, honest to God, like I wish that was a lie, but I genuinely was like, I haven't a clue what's happening or how I've got here. But like, thank God I'm here.
And I suppose, I mean, back to like Bobbi, I mean, young woman from Dublin, I mean, I'm sure there's been, you know, lots of, you know, trials, tribulations to get to where you are today. But like, I suppose before this kind of career, I suppose in the recent years in the music performing, as you said, where everything's just kind of went a whirlwind around you, where you've been like, hey, geez, I guess I'm doing this. Like, maybe tell us about some of the, I suppose, I like to call them character building jobs that you may have had kind of growing up and stuff like this, that I feel informs, you know, the person that you are today, you know, gives you that, as you said, kind of backbone, that bit of, you know, real life experience. I don't know if you've had many character building jobs that maybe you've kind of been able to pull through into this industry that is obviously bloody mental.
Yeah. Well, I'd say a big fat one would be retail, wouldn't it? I think everyone gets character building from retail.
Just that.
Like I've actually worked some awful retail jobs. I worked in Irish Rec in Heuston Station.
Oh wow!
For like 3 years, and that was bad form. That was a bad form job. But like also, I went in just as I left school. I was actually still in school when I started. I started as like a summer job thing, but then I went straight full time into it, and it's actually mental. Like I went in not being able to say a word. I was very shy. I obviously had no customer service training, and by the end of it, I was literally probably more trained than anyone else ever. Like you have to be so on tact and so aware when you're doing a customer service job in Irish Rail, because obviously there's like a massive suicide rate. You have to watch out for things like that. You have to always be on. You know, and obviously there's Heuston Station's right beside a drug clinic as well, so there was obviously a lot of issues going on from that over there. So it was always, I was kind of an 17, 18 year old that was thrown into the deep end of all this crazy real life world stuff I'd just never experienced before. Like I live in a small town in Wicklow called Blessington, and like there's just nothing up here. Nothing happens. Like we call it Shangri-La because there's no robberies, there's no, you know, anything. Just we're all just like, yeah, we'll leave your back door open, you can come in whenever you want, or like, do you mean there's so much trust around here? So being thrown into the heart of Dublin where real life problems and things were happening, I think that was like the most huge thing that probably aged me very fast. But then I
Real-
worked really shitty jobs my whole life. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's why I was kind of wondering because I suppose a lot of your songs as well, like it's like a lot of kind of maturity. Like even like I mean, Feel It, like that's one that I've been like fucking summer album, like I've been listening like flat out, honestly. But then whenever I realize, sorry, that like we're the same age, I was going like. Are you kidding me? Like, I feel like I can't really like pull together like a sentence to be like blah blah boop boop, like to like explain like feel stuff that was going on, and then I was being like, Jesus Christ, whenever I was just being like, what is this girl went through that like she's able to like articulate this? I feel like I just sit out the front, have a smoke and a beer, and be like, Christ,
girl, girl,
girl.
it's a lot of therapy just here.
Sips on iced coffee.
Yeah.
No, but I suppose like it's always those kind of jobs, always those situations that like as you said, through into real life matters where you go from just being like a hey kid, back or some clothes, like wait, there's a bit of crack, and then you're literally just thrown in. Like my job that I've literally just left.
I was literally the Rachel Berry of the new world. I was like, this is so great, and then I was like thrown into the middle of shit, and I was like, whoa, okay, I can't sing too loud.
Yeah, that's why it went off the musical theater where you're being like, honey, no. we're getting the pop. Yeah, I gotta get with the cool kids now. Yeah, exactly. And I suppose like from all of this, like all the mental stuff, like how like have there been any major, I suppose, standout moments so far that kind of came from this, I suppose, like new kind of career and everything that's like just been like thrusted upon you? I mean, from going from Heuston to like pop star, hey. Like have there been any like major standout like moments that you've been like, pinch me, holy shit, this is happening?
Yeah, definitely. I think every day that I'm in this career, something tops the other. Like I remember the first time I heard myself on the radio, that was like the greatest thing in the whole world. I couldn't believe it. And it still shocks me every time I hear myself on the radio. I'm like, geez, that's me. That's me on the radio. And my mom's like, you. I'm like, I know, what the hell? How did that happen? When people come up to me and say that they listen to my music, like that's always makes me want to cry. I like if I sob into your face if you come up and say hello to me, I'm so sorry. It's a very emotional thing for people to be like, oh, we love your music, because as I've said a whole million times before, it's like a piece of you. It's like someone reading your diary for a few minutes. So like when it's received well, it's like thank God you like me, validate me, kind of a thing. So yeah, I feel like being played on the radio, having people be fans and come up and say hello to me when I'm out, that's huge. I think just last week I played Kaleidoscope main stage, which was like the biggest stage I think I've ever been on, which was crazy. So it's little moments like that, but like obviously like there's so many, like charting in the Irish charts with Feel It was huge. Today I found out that I'm a few Spotify cover art things, like when you click the Spotify playlist.
Yeah, I seen your Instagram post today about it. Jesus.
I just can't believe it. Like I feel like I don't know what's happening, but like may continue.
You're like, keep it coming. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like have there been any like major like people, I suppose, that you've looked up to, or any like artists have like dropped in like little DM or like been like, hey buddy, like is there anybody that you've like met that you've like literally turned around and went like, what? Like I feel like those are the kind of wee moments where you find yourself in situations being like, why am I here as well? Like I don't know if you've had any of those yet.
I feel like my producers work with a lot of bigger artists, and like they have been able to put me in contact, or like I kind of have passed them walking in and out of the studio or whatever. People have been so welcoming. The Irish industry is really, really small, so like nearly everyone kind of knows each other, and they're very supportive. Like there's not a bad bone in anyone's back in the scene that we're in. So like if you reach out to someone, they're absolutely going to respond. One of the first people that come to mind, if I ever have any issues, any problems, any questions, if I'm freaking out and need to be calmed down, one of the first people that I contact ever is Nilo.
What?
Yeah, like Irish rapper. He's like my big brother. Like he's done it all. He's seen it all. Like that chap's face is all over billboards in town. Like he's been there. He's seen it. Jess Cav is another person that I go to all the time. Zaffo. Um, God, any of the girls from the X Collective have been very welcoming to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, just there's so many. You can literally reach out to anyone at any time and they'll respond. So it's great. Like,
Yeah, and I suppose like especially recently, I even feel like, well, predominantly within the kind of Irish scene, but like female Irish artists, like, do you know what I mean, has just been like exploded in like the last couple of years, like in terms of like, you know,
yeah,
the likes of like Seema or like Leisha or like Leah Hart, like Saoirse Richardson, like Denise Chilad, do you know what I mean? Like you don't, you know, stumble for thinking of like, oh yeah, what is like, you know, an Irish artist, whatever like this, or especially female Irish artists, like I think in terms of that, like that's been absolutely gone mental over the last few years, which is like the amazing to see, really. Like I suppose,
yeah.
like as yourself, like, do you know what I mean? Has it been like any different for yourself? Like, or I suppose even like, I suppose as being like a queer artist as well. I mean, is that not
Mhm.
like a huge kind of thing as well? Like kind of coming into it being like, I'm new here, but like also this is such a welcoming scene, and like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's terrifying. It doesn't get any less scary. Like as I said, I'm 23 now. I only like came out to my whole family when I was 21. So like
Yeah.
I kind of quickly established who I was, and then I was already in the music scene. So like you
Mm,
have to make a decision whether you're gonna let your whole self or your whole being lead the way of what music career you want to have.
mm.
So like I'm openly a queer person. And it took me a good minute to figure out whether I wanted to portray that on the scene. But I feel like it's important because there's not a lot of really, you know, pop stars, pop singers anywhere in the world really that are openly queer. So any ally that we can get, go for it, you know what I mean? So I feel like I had like a bit of a responsibility to be like, okay, this is who I am. It's not really my main lead. Like I don't want to be the queer singer,
Mm.
but like I'm happy to be here and to be standing as one of you, so you can maybe look up at me and say, look, if she's a queer 5'5", 170-pound singer, I can be as well. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I mean, but that's like it. Like at the end of the day, do you know what I mean? It's not even about like, it's even like with films and stuff. You're not kind of looking out being like, oh, if somebody's whole story, you know, is about sexuality, you're being like, no, like they can have their own autonomous life, but also just this is also a fragment of it that like, you know,
Yeah.
is worth mentioning or worth kind of like, you know, being represented. I suppose like even with like like I mean, big, huge one like Lil Nas X at a moment like this, or
Mm.
I'm actually chatting to Tim Chadwick later on, like, so do you know what I mean? Like,
I love Timmy.
yeah. So like that's what I mean. Like even just like that kind of whole, you know, having like it's a bit of like representation. I know what you mean. Like it's like so like there is a whole lot of it, but like the more I suppose, like as you said, there mean like you had to make that decision quite early on, and like I'm so
Mhm.
grateful that you did as well. Like so, I mean, yeah, I suppose like that's kind of I suppose been a big cool thing that you can be like, hey, this is me.
Yeah. I'm face value, like what you see is what you get with me, kind of.
Yeah. I suppose I kind of hate asking this question, but it always kind of leads to somewhere and kind of interesting. But like, I suppose with this in mind as well, like, you know, you're new on the scene, like everything, I suppose, has been looking amazing for you. And like, with all the success that's been happening, I suppose, have there been any like actual like horror stories that came from like working in this like newfound industry? Or it seems to have been going pretty well. Like, I hope.
Um, I don't think I've been in it long enough to have horror stories, to be honest with you. I feel like I'm just a really
Nice.
misfortunate. I think I'm a misfortunate person. Like things happen to me like that wouldn't happen to any other person. I'm just so unfortunate. Um, I've gone into sessions where I've absolutely flunked it, like where I've just been like mute, because
Mm.
I'm so nervous. Like that's kind of as far as I'll go. I haven't fallen off the stage yet. I haven't ran into someone that's been mean to me. Like I've only been in this since the start of 2020, so like I haven't been in it long enough to have any horror stories. Thank
Yeah,
God.
I love that you're being like, not yet. You're being like,
Well,
just
and it's
biding my time.
inevitable, isn't it? You're always gonna do something like.
Yeah. You just get contacted by like weird spacky kids on the internet, be like, "Can we have a chat?" You're going, Christ, here we fucking go. All right, Jesus, all right, fucking. Did you roll out of Houston? Did you? Right, okay. I suppose as well from this, like, I'm very cautious that like of the time and stuff like this as well. But like with obviously your new single coming out, favorite thoughts, unbelievable. I mean, straight now if you haven't, but like, what? Like obviously that's the newest big thing that's kind of happened to you, and as you said with Kaleidoscope and stuff over the weekend, like what does the future kind of hold for yourself, Bobbi? Like, are there any big goals that you want to achieve that you haven't, or are you kind of just like rolling with like this whirlwind, just being like, we don't know where we're going next?
But if I had set goals, I'd say that would be a lie. Because I genuinely just don't know what I'm doing. I'm just putting out singles and hoping that they get me out of my retail job, pretty much. I just want to do full time. So if I could do that, if that was possible, obviously I'd love to get out of Ireland for a while and, you know, explore the scenes in different countries. Like I'd love to go to London for a while and figure out what the music scene is like over there, try to break in that way. Because Ireland's only so big. Once you go out of it, I think you're on a whole different scale. So break through Ireland, I think, is the plan. Release loads more singles, maybe even a body of work, but that terrifies me, so maybe not for a while. Just keep making music and hoping that it does well, and hopefully I can have a career in this for the rest of my life, if not for a good few years. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I suppose like, I mean, as you said, they're like a body of work, whatever, like that. Like, I wouldn't even know what genres to chuck it in if there was like one to. I feel like you could just like go around everywhere. They'll be like, yeah, we'll hit all the charts. Do you know what I mean? We'll just like hit every single genre, you know, do a little mark in each one. Like, I mean, any kind of like dream people that you're like, I mean, you're looked to like collab with, or any kind of big ones like set up in the distance. Like, I'm just praying at this time. I don't really care.
I would genuinely love to work with Lil Nas. I think that he is just so talented. I'd love to work with him. I'd love to work with SG Lewis, Anderson .Paak, Tovlo. I'd love to work with Tovlo. I think I would pass away in my sleep if I ever got the chance to work with her. I'd love to work with everyone really that's in the pop. I think I idolize anyone that's ahead of me, even below me. I feel like I have stars in my eyes with anyone that I talk to. I get starstruck quite easy. So if I could get people that I admire, that would be the ultimate goal. Like,
we're manifesting it right now. We spoke it to the universe. Yeah. Oh my God. Sorry. The Christmas have been charging. Absolutely. Well, I suppose like just before we go, I have been writing down some little words here and there, and I wonder if you'll do a quick word association just before we kick you off, and then you go on to like your next like 20 other interviews. Would you be up for a bit? Like, it's literally like five, 6 words.
Yeah, Grant. I am dyslexic, so whatever this is, apologies. Like.
Okay. Well, hopefully we'll get through something like this. Okay, so word association game. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Just first thing that comes to your mind. Fever thoughts.
Bop.
Oh. Heuston.
Shithole.
Musical theatre.
Old.
Kaleidoscope.
Fun.
And Finnterviews.
Amazing.
Hey! Everybody like literally whenever I say it today, and they go like, "Oh fuck me," and I'm like, I'm literally so shameless with this, but like, fuck it. I mean, it has to be done. No, honestly, Bobbi, it has been an absolute pleasure. Literally, that you've even made the time for me today. As I said, like me and my friend, she got a little shout out here, Kim Baxter. We are like obsessed with views. Like literally, she was actually who introduced me to you originally. So and also she's been like, oh my God, I think her one question has been like, can we run into you at the, oh my God, where's your gig at the yeah, she's been like, can we say hi to her? Like, could just say like, just mention that we're going to be here. Absolutely. Yeah, no, but like, as I said, I mean, many people that I talk to on this, I literally started this out as a bit of a thing to be like, oh, I just want to talk to interesting people. So the fact that whenever I reach out, like, I'm so appreciative to anybody sitting down and chat to me for a hot wee second, especially somebody who I really enjoy and look up to as well. So I suppose if people, you know, have enjoyed their chat, and if they haven't listened to any of your things, where can they find everything Bobbi Arlo? Where are you going next? What can they do to support all the stuff that you're doing?
So all my social medias are Bobbi_Arlo. It's BOBBIAORLO. That's just, everyone keeps spelling it wrong.
Nice.
Yeah, so Bobbi_Arlo for all my social medias. I'm very active on, you know, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. They're my most active platforms. I've got a gig coming up, my first headline show on the 30th of September in the Grand Social in Dublin. Tickets are still on sale. I don't think there's a lot left, so if you want to grab them, make sure you grab them quick. My new single just dropped yesterday, I think it was, so make sure you stream that. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, all the streaming platforms. And yeah, that's me.
Well, thank God you wrapped it up way more succinctly than I did. Bobbi, thank you so much for coming on. And yeah, best luck with everything. And can't wait to see you at your next gig. You!
Thank you.
See you later. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Finnterviews, and thank you so much to Bobbi for sitting down and telling us all about everything. It was such a pleasure, and Bobbi is such a fucking legend. If you enjoyed this episode or any other in the series, please do remember to give us a like, share, comment, subscribe, rating. If you're on Apple Podcasts, I don't know if you can do it in other ones, but wherever you are, please do share the podcast, let people know, and also you can get in touch with me on socials and give us a wee follow if you're there. Why not? I'm on Finnterviews podcast. Basically, you'll find me anywhere if you just Google that online. And you can also let me know who you would like to hear next on the podcast. Because, I mean, at this stage, basically, I can get anybody. Well, I can try my best anyways. But no, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, I'll chat to you later. Bye.